and welcome for today's mock SQL interview, Christmas edition. Yeah. So I prepared the special tasks for you today, Dmitry. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling thrilled. Know what to expect.
I will share with you the link to our coding tool, where you write SQL, and I prepared several tasks. Feel free to ask any questions, and let's start. Can you share your screen? Well, this is the first task. Let's imagine that we are working on Santa's Workshop company. It's a leading company. We are specializing on Christmas products, toys, decorations, and gifts. And yeah, of course, our main focus is spreading holiday cheer, and the company delivers high quality products and exceptional customer service. And we use also analytics to optimize our sales, improve customer experience, and develop targeted marketing strategy. First task, could you read it, please?
Just description.
Yeah.
Okay. Santa's Workshop is analyzing order for Christmas gifts. Write a query to find the total revenue generated by each product category. Only include categories with total revenue greater than 500 and sort the result in decreasing order of total revenue. Okay. At this point, everything is clear. As far as I understand, we do not have dummy data. Yeah, we just.
We only have like schemas without any data. So.
Okay. Okay. Fields. We have two tables. One with orders, the another one with products. Okay. Information about products. At this point, we may solve this task in different ways. I would use CTE first to get the raw data with all sales, and then okay. Here we have to join our orders with product information. But I don't know, maybe during solving this problem, I'll change my approach and switch to a solution without CTE.
Okay.
Okay, what do we need? We need to get category. Okay. Do we need to filter something by date? No? No.
No.
Oh, sorry. We do not need customer ID at all. Okay, we do not need all this information. Product name, category. And join field will be product ID, I think. I had to warn you that this is my first mock interview on SQL.
Okay, yeah, it's fine.
At this point, we need to. Usually, we do not need to do it, but I do it only for the simplicity of reading the query. Uh, Well, unfortunately, we can't check whether everything is okay at this point, but I think everything. So at this point, we have data with all orders, and we need. Let me. Category. Was possible to use without to solve this problem without CT, but I think it will be helpful during our next steps, because if I'm right, we'll continue working with these tables during the next.
Yeah, you will
Okay.
see in the next task. Let's keep it
Yeah.
secret.
Okay. Well, at this point, we have everything we need. Group by one, and having in different tables, it can work differently, but in ClickHouse, it will work 100%. Okay. I think this will be the solution, but I'm not sure about this part. We may alternatively try this approach, or we may get another CT and show this to query another CT with this statement, not statement, but clause.
Got it. So this is your final.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you go through it once again and just explain me what you did?
All this information is useless. I mean, because we don't use it during this task. But I assumed that we continue working with these tables in the next subsequent tasks. And at this point, it's my approach to have a raw data table with raw data that contains all fields that I need. Of course, sometimes it's inefficient and useless, but so I started with this. And at this point, I would rather change something in my approach. Let me explain what I tried to do. In this table, we have information about all orders and products that were sold, and with its price and quantity. So we have the revenue of the total revenue for each product in each category by order. And in this query, we just select category from this table with, I would rather name it raw data. Yeah. And here we just get category and get total revenue by sold products in each category.
Yeah.
Yeah, we group by category, then order by total revenue in a descending order, and so yeah, and filter it by this statement.
Yeah, you mentioned that there could be like some differences. Yeah, when you use total revenue in having, what are the differences? What did you mean?
This approach in some databases, yeah, or syntaxes, SQL syntaxes may not work for this part, total revenue. In this case, I would rather try this approach, or even if it still doesn't work, I will try to get another CT or make all this calculation in the first CT and finally query by the name I have.
Great. Yeah, I think the approach is correct. Only one small issue is that order by is should be at the end of the query.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a question of no having access to.
Yeah. So having is not used a lot, but in general, it's yeah, good answer. Thank you. Now let's go to the second task. I'll copy my second task also there.
Unfortunately, we work with another date. Okay.
Yeah, but could you read the task, please?
Santa's workshop wants to reward the top 3 customers who placed the highest order value during December 2023. Write a query to find these customers. 3 customers who placed the highest order value during December. Yeah, the question will be what we imply under highest order values. It's total revenue or one top
Yeah, total
order.
total order value.
It's not the sum of all orders made by the customer. It's we just looking for customers with the highest order value. Yeah, one order value for each customer. For example, if the customer made 10 orders, we get just one with the highest.
Let's summarize by customers. So let's
by customer revenue.
Yes,
okay.
Let's do it.
I'm looking through the description of table in order to avoid pitfalls in data.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I think this one still. Okay, let's do this. mm, let's no customer name. Okay. Okay, let's have it. Wait, I'm sorry. Sorry, we have customers. Okay. Products, orders, then we'll. It is date, then we do not need to convert it to any other type. We may use this one. Which December? Okay. Okay. Here we have all the information about customers in December.
Okay.
It still could be used without CTE, but for me, it's always easier to use this approach.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, forgot. Yeah, final.
Could you read once again the task?
Santa's workshop wants to reward it. Okay. It could be used using window functions, but for here, I think that this approach is simpler.
Okay. Yeah. Could you once again go through your query and explain what you did?
Yeah, in the first query, subquery, I tried to get all the data I need to make final calculations. Here we have a lot of useless data, but I want to, so it's easy for when you can't try out it on real data. So for here, we join our three tables, orders with products and customers, and get all the information about products we sold in December by all customers. And then we just select three fields we need, just not select two fields we need and calculate the third one. We get customer ID, customer name, We do not need to filter anything here because all this data was filtered in the CTE by December, and get sum of all orders that we get in order detailed query.
Yeah, I think it's correct. Only one comment that in your CTE you use such fields as customer ID and product ID, and we have this columns in two tables. Yeah, so in some databases it could be okay, but in some it will be like an error. So it's better to.
I deliberately, if you remember, I started without these things, but I deliberately made these synonyms in order to avoid this problem. Just because of some nervous circumstances.
Yeah, okay, cool. And also you mentioned that it's possible to solve with window function. And you don't need to write it, but just what window function would you use?
Rank, we may use rank function and sort all the data we have by clause over, partition by, and order by this field. But we can't use window functions in this query. We need to put this query in parentheses and then to query it one more time in order to perform the Windows function.
Why we can't use it in this query?
Because it's my hypothesis, because usually I do not use this approach, but I think it's we can't use window function simultaneously with group function in one query.
Correct. I think in some cases it's possible, but in general it's better to avoid using it in the same query. It's better to create a separate city and use it there. Correct. Awesome. Thank you. So I'll create one more meeting because we are running out of time here in Zoom. And I'll share in our chat and let's jump there and we'll have our last task for today there. Here is the third last one for today. Please read the description and just start to write a query.
Santa's workshop wants to analyze customer retention by calculating the retention rate based on repeat purchases. For each customers, calculate whether they made a repeat purchase in the next month. Okay, fields, customer ID and order date. Let me think. Is it okay to,
yes, of course,
take a small break?
Yeah, you can think once we have time. You can check the output, how the output looks like.
So, okay. Then we have to, at this point, we may calculate. We have just 2 months and analyze
No, like
information.
it's 2 months is just an example. You have, I don't know, a lot of months, just several years of transactions.
For here, at this point, it seems to be a pretty long exercise. Well, let me think aloud. Here we have to calculate if we have to analyze an unknown period. For each month, we have to calculate the amount of new customers who hadn't made any purchases before. It will be the acquisition month, and then we have to find whether these customers return during the following month. We do not take into account situations when, for example, customer was acquired in December, didn't make any purchases in January, and made another purchase on February.
No, let's make it more simple. Let's don't include them. Only next month.
Let me think how should I solve it using CTE
Of course.
and window functions. Customer ID. Customer. Okay. Um, At this point, we have.
Do you have any questions?
No, I do not have any questions
Okay.
because the only problem is to. Well, here we have order history. Change the order. Customer ID. Okay. Here we have all the months by each customer.
Okay.
Well. Customer ID and It's from Python. Here we have, do this here too. Okay, I don't know. Well,
yeah, we can discuss it.
yeah, I just want to get the sequence of orders by each customers by month. I mean, whether he made orders in February, in March, and so on. And then we may calculate.
Yeah, but here, when you use rank, I think you hear order by months, and if we will miss some months, I think it won't count. Yeah, okay, we have January. We don't have any transactions on February, and then we have in March. We will have some data for January, rank 1 for January, and then rank 2 will be not February, but it will be.
Do you mean we should use dense rank?
There is like another function that explicitly checks if there are some transactions in next month. If you want, you can use Google just to Google.
I think lead function do this, but I can just imagine what I want to do. So I know all these functions. I don't know how to use it solving this task.
What lead function does?
It checks whether there were any values in the previous row. And if it's no, if the next row is empty, we may use it to fill it with the previous one.
If we have this data in January and then in February and in March we don't have, and when we will use lead function in January for the next month, we will see some data. But when we will use in February lead function, it will show null value in this field. So we can assume that if it's null value in the lead function, we can assume that it's not a repeated customer.
The problem is not in syntaxes. The problem is that I can't imagine how to organize the query so to get exactly the same.
Yeah.
We work with a window of 2 months. Yeah, we check total customers in December and compare it with January, and then step by step do this. In this case, it's not a. I can't imagine how to do this. Yeah.
So I think you can do it most like in a simple way. So let's check. Yeah, our expected outputs have order months. We have this data. Yes, we have total customers, and for simplicity, let's just calculate in general total customers that made at least one order this month. It doesn't matter whether they are new or old. Let's just calculate all of them. And the third field is repeat customers. You should check for every of these total customers, how many of them they made a purchase next month. And if they made a purchase next month, we count them as a repeated customer. And for retention rate, we just divide repeat customers by total customers.
Well, for here we. Yeah. Well, for here we may. No.
I think it's okay. No, I know. Yeah, maybe you can use it in other city.
Can't use it here.
Yeah, but you can use it in second city if you can just create another city and use it there. So what you're doing in this first city?
I check whether by each customer, I check whether he, she, they made any purchase for each month that we have in our data set.
Yes, correct. So then what will be the next step?
Then we need to, we'll get all. No, I still can't imagine how to solve it.
Well, okay, yeah, it's fine. So yes, you made the correct steps. You just found all the distinct months and customer IDs. You have months and you have customer ID. The next step will be for each of these customers, check or like create a third field where you will have next month, something like this. And it will show if there was a transaction next month, it will show this month value. If there were no transactions, it will show null values. You can use the lead function and you can just, yeah.
Okay, for here we get.
Yes.
And lead.
Yes, correct.
I would rather use. Well, that's it, I think.
So if there are no purchases, it will show null value.
What do you... And now another bar. Customer ID.
You calculated the total customer. How would you understand if this customer is repeated or not, based on the data you calculated?
Whether it has any records in the previous month. It's a bit challenging to work with this task without real data. Honestly, I don't even remember how will this table look like.
Yeah, let's imagine that that we got in this temporary table 3 columns. Yes, we have order months, customer ID, and we have a lead function that checks if there was a transaction next month or not. And let's imagine that it shows null value if there were no transactions. And if we can say that we can write something like a case statement that checks if it's null, that we don't count it. If it's not null, we think that it's like a repeated customer.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, so when repeat is not null, then one, and yeah, I think it should work, yes. So because if it's count function is not counting nulls, yes, I think it's correct. You can use
Or
some,
yeah.
yes.
And next. I think that's it. Yeah, but we may also.
No, I think it's fine. You just need the last thing. You need group by.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, can you go through once again the whole query, and then we will discuss it.
Okay. In the first query, we get the track of records for each customer. I wasn't sure whether I could use distinct here. That's why I made this subquery. And I had no chance to check it out. And then we get temporary table that contains all the months we have in our data set and customer ID, customer ID, and then we track whether there was a record for customer ID for a specific month or not. In this case, in this column, we get, I think, nulls when we do not have records. And then we work with this temporary table in the following way. We get the order month, then we count all the customers that had any.
What are you thinking about?
It still calculates all the customers for each month, but they may have null values here, and this column doesn't work properly.
What do you mean?
I do not see the data, that's why I try to imagine what.
No, I think it should be fine. So we have order ID, we have customer ID, and we just calculate the distinct number of customers in this month.
Yeah, we calculate. Sorry, it's okay. Yeah, I matched this information because we calculate these. We calculate these two fields by separate columns. Yeah, that's my first try. I'm sorry.
So let's discuss some things. Yeah, we have good comments about it. We made some, I would say, adjustments to our logic and try to make it more in simple way. Because what is it like retention rate? Dmitry, could you just explain us what is a retention rate in general?
Yeah, retention rate is the percentage of customers. We have different approaches of retention rate calculation. We may calculate rolling retention rate, real retention rate, and so in general, it shows the percentage of users who returned or made some expected action in a product, for example, purchase, in a period going after the previous period, whether they made the purchase in January, after they made a purchase in December. For example, if 10 users that made any purchases in December and only half of them made another purchase in January, it means that we divide 5 by 10 and get 50% of retention rate.
Here we just calculated the total number and then divided repeat customers by just total number. So we haven't analyzed maybe when they started and something like this. Also, there was a good comment that lead function, actually lead function just checks the next row. In our case, we just said that it will be null if it's repeat, but actually if there will be some data, even like not next month, but other months, there will be not null. It will be like the next date. We made this just adjustment just to solve this task. Awesome. Yeah. Dmitry, what are your thoughts about your solutions and your emotions about the whole experience?
I was right when I entered our meeting with words that I'm thrilled. It was a good attempt. I would like to repeat that that was my first SQL mock interview. And honestly, it emphasized that I need to expand my and it could be a good suggestion for any person to expand your understanding of functions you use in one way, in order to understand how they could be used in another way. For example, I use a lead function and in absolutely other way. I mean, we usually working with my daily tasks. I use it to fill. So I use it in combination with coalesce function to fill empty data.
Yeah, actually, it was a really good experience, especially if it's your like first experience with the mock SQL interview. So you did a great job, especially like with the first two tasks. The third one was a little bit tricky, and it was really like, not easy to maybe understand the goal and how to calculate all this stuff. But I think you did a good job. So you definitely know all the functions. Of course, maybe you don't maybe remember sometimes of them, but in general, you definitely know SQL. And yes, it's really good when you just describe your thoughts, because it's for me, this for interviewer, it's the main thing is just to see how you're thinking, what is your logic behind your query. It's good like to read out loud the description and to maybe think, okay, like even before writing the query, it's good to talk about the output and to talk about what will be your approach, and maybe to ask questions if you'll have one. I think you just need to practice. If you solve on a regular basis, you'll solve SQL tasks. I think you will have this confidence and you'll improve your skills.
One more addition. I think it was a life-changing experience when you don't have access to real data, because when you have real data and you may try and try again, and over time you understand how it works.
Yeah, I agree with you. So on real interviews, it depends. Sometimes you have, if the company use some platforms for SQL introduce, you will have some data and you will be able to queries, but there are a lot of companies that they check the logic. And in general, the logic, how you think is the most important part, the SQL process. Yes, a lot of times the companies will share with you the, I don't know, there's some Google Doc and you'll write it there, or some code share or something similar platform. So you'll write and they'll just check your logic and that's it. And actually, sometimes it's good because if you use the platform, some platforms with the real data, of course you can check it, but if sometimes you forget some small details like a comma or something, and when you don't have data and you show your logic, your solution will be right. But if you forgot your comma and with the real data, it can be an issue. Thank you so much for participation. See you next time when you will work on your issues, your areas for improvement, and see you next year. So Merry Christmas, everyone, and Happy New Year. See you next year.
Mutually.